Hi everyone, welcome back to the Get a Brew channel. So today we're going to do a home distilling overview. We may be from Northern Ireland, but we don't have the skills of Liam Neeson. We don't have them very special skills and we can't find you. So you're going to have to check out the regulations in your country as to whether you can use a home distillation setup. Now, it varies from country to country, and I'm sure you can get advice from your local customs officer. So home distilling, we have a couple of options online, the equipment. So we do the still spirits equipment, and we also do the digi boilers and alco engines, which would be a similar equivalent from Kegland. So this is the still spirits with the reflux column, and then this is the pot still attachment. So ourselves, we have a bond and a small copper pot still here, and we have a brand of gin called Frankie and Eileen's Gin. So we have a limited experience in distilling. Now, I have a distiller that does that for me, Neil, and he does a great job. He's making award-winning gin. So I'm not a distiller, I'm more of a brewer, but I'll do my very best to explain the differences. So reflux column, I suppose, would be in some ways a safer way of doing it, because it has a column here where the steam and the alcohol go in, and it's pulling more of the impurities out, and it's making a cleaner spirit without all of the flavors that you would maybe get with a copper pot still. So when operating with this, when I say safer, if you discard the first 50 to 70 mils of the distillate, that gets rid of the methanol, which is the issue that you don't want to capture. And then the spirit after that will be clean and neutral. Whereas the copper pot still attachment, because it's got the copper in such a way with the dome, it will allow you to add more flavour. So if you want to retain some of the flavours from the wash, then that would mean that would be the option that you would go for. Now, the difference between these two systems, so if you imagine you take off this lid and this column and you just pop the copper dome on top with the alembic arm, the difference with this is very simply that you're going to have to approach it more like a distiller. So there's going to be heads, hearts and tails, and basically what that means is you would collect your heads or your foreshots. So collect the foreshots separately, collect the hearts separately, and collect the tails separately, and then you can incorporate a little bit of perhaps the foreshots into that blend if you're wanting to make gin, for example. So that's the difference between a reflux condenser and a copper pot still attachment. I guess you can distill anything. So if you've made beer at home, or you've made wine, or you've made a sugar wash, you can distill it. Now, the higher the ABV, the easier it is to get that higher volume in the alcohol. So if you're using a sugar wash, usually what you would do is you would get brewing sugar, which is dextrose monohydrate, a packet of turbo yeast, and then you would need the turbo clear and the turbo carbon. And you ferment that in a separate fermenter. Say you get it to 12% or 14%, you then take that at that stage, which is called the wash, and the wash is added to the body of the kettle in here, and then you're bringing that to set temperatures to allow you to process that into alcohol. So how that works is, it's really simple in that take your wash, put your wash into the body here, then add some ceramic saddles, and what you're doing is then you put on your lid, connect this up to your tap. So this would be connected to your tap for cold water coming in, and then your warm water coming out, and your distillate comes out of here, and you're monitoring your temperatures. Now, there is really good information in the booklets that come with these equipments, which would tell you and explain to you at what temperature you start the water flow, at what temperature you start collection at, and then how you get that alcohol through. So you're going to aim with something like this to be producing alcohol, say 90 to 95% proof, and then you're going to want to cut that yourself and dilute that down, and then you can add flavouring. So that's the stage where these little things would kick in. So we have the top shelf flavourings available, and the classic flavourings available in sachets. So you can basically take a sugar wash generated from turbo yeast, put it through the T500, whether that be through a reflux or copper pot still attachment, collect the alcohol and then cut the alcohol down, add the flavouring package and proceed. So this is an overview, so I'm not going to go into great detail, and we'll try and do some more videos in the future about that. So the next thing to look at is it's important that you've got good water flow going in here. So if you're doing this in a domestic setting and you've got this setup where your water is coming off your tap into the reflux column, the condenser, you're not going to want that water flow to stop. So the water regulator maintains a constant flow. Say someone flushes the toilet, the sink's running, or there's a shower going. While you're running this, you could end up with the flow being affected, which would affect the runoff. So that's why a water flow regulator is a good addition. Now, the copper pot still attachment is the attachment that I would be a little bit more familiar with than this, because our commercial distillery uses a copper pot still. So again, you would have the cold water coming in at the bottom of the lye arm there, and then you would have the warm water coming out of the top and the distillate being collected from the silicone tube that's hanging down over the front of the table, and then your temperature probe to monitor the temperatures just on the top of the arm as well. So there's lots of different options for how you can approach home distilling. This is a T500 with a reflux. That's the copper pot still attachment. Then there is the little air still, which is, I think it's 4 litres maximum that you can run at a time. So literally you're taking the fan off the top of it, putting your wash in, hitting the power button, and off you go. These are an air still, really basic. They do work obviously, but the volumes would be fairly small. So I would imagine that this is aimed very much at beginners, tabletop, dip their toe in it, just want to try something out and see if it is something then that they can progress to, you know, a larger, you know, 30 or 25 litre home distillation setup. Now, talking in relation to the copper pot still, or indeed here, we do these little botanical baskets, and they screw in just in beneath the column here, or in beneath the lye arm there. You can see that there's a little stainless steel fibered base and perforated stainless steel top, but you can just really simply put your botanicals in there. Now, we do a range of luxury gin botanicals, and I've got juniper berries and coriander seeds here. You can buy them in any quantity you want, whether that be from really small setup to the very largest. Same high quality gin botanicals that we use in our own distillery. So you're getting really high quality botanicals, which allows you to put a really high quality flavour into the alcohol that you're trying to create. Now, with this, as I said, you can distill anything. So you could make a wine kit and distill it. You could get a cider kit and distill it. You could get beer and distill it. You can get a sugar wash. It depends what your end product is as to how you approach it. So if you're wanting something super clean with no flavour and you're just going to add a still spirits additive, go for the reflux column. If you're wanting something that allows you a little bit more creativity and you want to keep some of those flavours in, say from some like mash that you've carried out, where you want to keep the flavours of the barley and the malt in that there, then it's going to be a copper pot still attachment. But look, great instructions come with these from Still Spirits. So that's a very brief overview of the home distilling equipment that we supply at Get It Brewed. Look, we ship worldwide via DHL, and we ship locally, you know, with DPD and the pallet network. There's no limitations to where we can ship, but there is limitations to the legalities in your country. Not every country approves of home distilling without going through a formal application with HMRC locally, for example. So please do check out the legalities in your region. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy brewing.